It is a known fact that a lot of things happens behind the scenes while flying. There's a whole world of protocol, rules, secrets, and codes that even the most seasoned travelers often know nothing about. I have opportunity to ask airline professionals for behind-the-scenes details about flying we might not already know. The answers revealed a series of secrets you're going to wish you knew. So, in the interest of keeping each and every one of you informed about why you shouldn't drink the plain water, the following are 7 airline secrets that are never told to passengers. Number 1. Why round windows are used instead of square/rectangle. One of the questions you might have been idly wondering as you sat through your most recent flight is why are airplane windows always round? Is it a design choice on the part of the airlines? A plane's rounded windows are not just an unconscious design choice despite being very aesthetic. Until the 1950s, planes were using square windows, but a series of crashes showed that the corners of square windows were a design flaw. Crash reports showed that due to the sharp corners, the metal surrounding the window pressure 2 to 3 times greater than elsewhere on the fuselage. Round windows distribute the stress of the outside pressure of air, and thus are stronger and prone to deformation because of the pressure. Number 2. Plain water is not consumable. While we're talking about aircraft hygiene, don't get me started on the state of the water on some planes. Yes, there are hygiene regulations in place. Are these regulations strictly followed and enforced? Not really. Did you know that sometimes the same person who removes the waste from the airplane toilets also fills up the water? They're not meant to, but sometimes they do. To top this off, most low-cost airlines don't actually carry enough bottled water to last the entire flight. And with airport security regulations restricting travelers to 100 ml, 3 ounces, per container, this doesn't leave too many options. If you are going to consume water on a plane, make sure it comes from a bottle. That means coffee and tea are also out. An EPA study found that 1 in every 8 planes fails their standards for water safety. Pick up a bottle of water at the gate, or bring an empty water bottle with you, and fill it up once you pass through security. Or, opt for traveling on a full-service airline, as they generally carry ample filtered or bottled water for all passengers. Number 3. The pilots have to eat different meals in case of food poisoning. Although there are strict regulations in place regarding airline food safety, you can never be too careful. If a chicken curry meal has been unintentionally contaminated, it's possible that the entire batch of chicken curry has also been contaminated. We wouldn't want both of the pilots needing to rush to the toilet when it comes time to land, now would we? The flight crew has to eat too, especially during those long international flights. But did you know that the pilot and co-pilot are required to eat different meals? As odd as this may sound, it actually is for the well-being of everyone on board. According to Business Insider, pilots and co-pilots are advised not to eat the same meals in case one has food poisoning. If one of the pilots becomes sick from their food, the other can take over. While this rarely happens, travelers can feel better knowing that all measures are being taken to ensure passenger safety. Number 4. It is very common for planes to get struck by lightning. In regions of the world where electrical storms are prevalent, particularly around polar regions and the tropics, it's not uncommon for aircraft to be flying around fierce storm clouds. Not only does lightning strike the ground, but it also jumps between charged clouds. Lightning usually seeks out conducting materials such as aluminium, so aircraft are prime targets. On average, a commercial airplane can be struck 1 to 2 times per year. But don't be alarmed. Fortunately, planes are engineered to handle lightning strikes. A lightning strike will typically hit one point on the aircraft, usually the wingtip, then travel through the aircraft fuselage and leave from another point without actually getting in. Thus, electronic equipment and passengers are protected from surges. Most of the time, passengers won't even know the plane's been hit. Number 5. Engines can stall mid-flight, but it's rare. Engine failures are very rare. This is because most commercial airplanes aren't powered by a single engine. Rather, they feature multiple engines to safeguard against failure. The Airbus A380 and Boeing 747, for example, are powered by 4 jet engines. Some commercial airplanes, in fact, have 6 engines. Each engine works independently from the others. Therefore, if one of the engines fails, the others will continue to operate. And even if you lose all engines, an experienced pilot will still be able to get you down safely. With that said, there have been times when all of an airplane's engines have failed. A common example is the Hudson River landing, during which Captain Sully Sullenberger was forced to make an emergency water landing after both of his airplane's engines have failed. With no deaths or major injuries, it was a miraculous story that even inspired the production of a movie. Regardless, instances in which multiple engines fail simultaneously during flight are few and far between. The Hudson River landing was a rare occurrence that only occurs once in a blue moon. Number 6. A plane can't take off if you're in the toilet. Legally, a plane can't take off if someone is in the toilet, because takeoff and landing are the two of the most at-risk moments on the plane. A pilot cannot legally take off with a passenger in the toilet. Takeoff and landing are the most dangerous times during a flight, which is why passengers must remain in their seats. There aren't any safety features in the toilet, like a seat belt, that would keep a passenger in place. According to the Civil Aviation Authority, passengers must be seated and secured with a safety belt for taxi, takeoff, and landing. Cabin crew can use their discretion whether they allow passengers to use the toilet before the aircraft begins taxiing to the runway. Number 7. Cabin air may be bad for your health. At the altitude at which commercial jets fly, the air pressure does not allow humans to breathe independently. To overcome this, hot compressed air is drawn from the plane's engines and, once cooled, directed into the cabin to supply breathable air, known as bleed air. This does not pose a health risk in itself. But campaigners believe that potential faults in the engine seals can lead to heated engine oil, hydraulic fluids, and harmful chemicals called organophosphates, used to lubricate the engine's metal parts, contaminating the air. Though most airlines insist there are no risks associated with breathing cabin air, some also argue that it can become contaminated with chemicals which contribute to a range of health issues. The debate continues. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.